Am I the a-hole for refusing to split my lottery winnings with my family even though they are in financial trouble? I'm Sabrina, a 36 female, and I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. I've always been a middle-class, paycheck-to-paycheck kind of person. I work as a medical assistant at a clinic, which is fulfilling but doesn't exactly pay a fortune. My family, Mom Denise, Dad Carl, and my two younger brothers, Ryan 32 male and Evan 29 male, are all in varying degrees of financial trouble. My parents are retired and struggling to keep up with their mortgage and medical bills. Ryan works as a mechanic and has 3 kids, and Evan is a bartender who can never seem to keep his savings intact. I've been the responsible one in the family, the one who's always been called on to help when someone needs money or a favor. And while I love them, it's been exhausting to be everyone's safety net. 3 months ago, my life changed. I stopped at a gas station to buy some milk and, on a whim, bought a $20 scratch-off ticket. I almost didn't even scratch it. Who really expects to win? But when I did, I saw the numbers, double-checked them, and nearly fainted. I had won $2.5 million. After taxes, it came out to about $1.5 million. Still, it was more money than I had ever dreamed of having. I felt like the universe was finally giving me a break after years of scraping by. The first thing I did was pay off my debts, student loans, car payments, credit cards, all gone. Then I put a chunk of it into savings and treated myself to a few things: a modest vacation to Florida, a used but newer car, and a really nice couch I'd been eyeing for years. I kept it low-key because I didn't want the news to get out to everyone just yet. I didn't tell my family immediately. Not because I didn't want to share, but because I knew it would complicate things. I wanted to figure out how to handle the money responsibly before anyone came knocking. But secrets don't last long in my family. Ryan saw my new car and casually asked how I could afford it. I tried to brush it off, but he pressed, and eventually, I told him. "Please don't make a big deal out of this," I said. "I'm still figuring out what to do." Of course, he told Evan, who told Mom and Dad. Within a week, I was getting calls and texts from everyone, congratulating me, and hinting heavily about how much they could use a little help. At first, it was subtle. "Sabrina, we're so happy for you," Mom said during a phone call. "You deserve this. And, you know, your dad and I have been worried about the house. The bank's been breathing down our necks about the mortgage." Then Ryan chimed in, "Hey, sis, you know the twins need braces, and we've been behind on their school fees. Anything you could do to help would mean the world." Evan's approach was less subtle. "Dude, I'm drowning here. Rent's late, my car's on its last legs, and I've got nothing in my savings. Just spot me $20,000 or something to get back on track." It didn't stop there. My parents started suggesting that I should pay off their mortgage entirely. Ryan asked for help with his kids' college funds. Evan wanted a lump sum to invest in himself. They acted like my windfall was the family's windfall, and I was just the trustee. After weeks of being guilt-tripped, I finally had enough. I called a family meeting at my parents' house to lay everything out. "Look," I started, "I love you all, and I know things have been tough. But this money is mine, and I've worked hard my whole life to get to a point where I don't have to worry about bills. I'm not a bank." The room went silent. Then Mom spoke up. "Sabrina, we're not asking for much," she said. "Just help your family a little. We raised you, didn't we? Isn't it your turn to take care of us?" "Mom, I get that, but I've been taking care of you guys for years," I said. "I've paid for repairs, groceries, and emergencies. I'm not saying I won't help at all, but I'm not paying off the mortgage or handing out lump sums." "That's selfish," Ryan said, shaking his head. "You have millions, and you're going to let us struggle while you sit on it?" "It's not selfish," I snapped. "It's being smart. I'm putting most of it into savings and investments so I can have a stable future. I can't just give it all away." The meeting ended with a lot of shouting. Ryan accused me of forgetting where I came from. Evan called me a cold-hearted bee. Even my dad, who's usually the mediator, said he was disappointed in me. Since then, things have been tense. Ryan and Evan have barely spoken to me, except to send passive-aggressive texts. My mom keeps calling, alternating between guilt trips and outright begging. She even tried to loop in our extended family, which led to my aunt calling me to ask why I was letting my parents suffer. I did end up helping a little. I gave my parents $10,000 to catch up on bills and another $5,000 to Ryan for his kids' school expenses. But when I told them that was it, they acted like I'd slapped them in the face. "You're being greedy," Mom said during one particularly heated call. "Money changes people, Sabrina. I didn't think you'd let it change you." "It hasn't changed me," I replied. "But apparently, it's changed the way you see me. This isn't fair. Now I'm stuck in this awkward limbo. I feel like I've done enough to help without jeopardizing my future, but my family clearly doesn't see it that way. They think I'm hoarding money while they struggle, and it's created a huge rift between us. I'm hurt, but I'm also angry. I worked my ass off for years to stay afloat, and now that I finally have some financial security, they're acting entitled to it. I don't know if I'm being too rigid or if they're being unreasonable. Part of me wonders if I should have just given them what they wanted to keep the peace, but another part of me thinks that would have set a dangerous precedent.